Now, we are going to listen to panel discussion 1. How do we empower the next generation of women to pursue their global goals and objectives? The moderator is Mrs. Evrim Aras, CEO of Aras Holding, President of TOBB Women Entrepreneurship Council, Turkey. I would like to also introduce you the panelists. Karine Formby, CEO, Power Plastics, IWEC Past Awardee 2014, South Africa. Teresa Tapfuma, Managing Director, Zimbabwe Valley of Flowers, IWEC 2015 Awardee, Zimbabwe. Özlem Denizmen, Founder Chairman, FODER, Financial Literacy and Inclusion Association, Turkey. Carmen Castillo, CEO, SDI International, IWEC Past Awardee 2010, United States. Regina Lilopis, Founder, Investor, President, and CEO of Group AIA, 2015 IWEC Awardee, Spain. Thank you, Mrs. Evrim Aras. Now.
The chair seat makes me feel like a judge. However, be sure that I come with no judgment. Distinguished guests, amazing women from all around the world, I would like to welcome you to our company and to our panel. Before we start, I would like to point out my grief to the tragic times we're going through. We are all responsible, and as a woman, we have so much to do. Queen Raina's words ring in my head. The women all around are finding new power at the transformation of the world. Imagine a world that all girls have the equal opportunity and education. We can break the cycle of literacy, poverty, and disease in a single generation. I would like to add acts to terror to this picture as well. Hello, ladies. Let's start. I want to start with Karine. In 2014, Karine was an IWEC awardee recognized for the contribution to economic empowerment through entrepreneurship in South Africa. Karine, please start by telling us a little bit about what Power Plastics does, and then let's continue with why and how to achieve global goals and objectives is essential. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me now? What I'd like to do is focus on the last part of the topic, which is how do we, as women in this room, focus on our own global goals and objectives? Have you each focused on yours? Because if we want to focus on our global goals and objectives, we need to do so before we even try to empower other women. And it's a very important topic because companies that export do much better than companies that don't export. So there's a census in the US on women-owned businesses, and companies that export, on average, employ a lot more women, 41 women versus 7 women for non-exporting businesses, $107,000 turnover versus $14 million turnovers. So companies that export do really well. Power Plastics is a company based in Cape Town. 35% of our business is exported into Africa. So we deal, from South Africa, we deal with Zimbabwe, Zambia, Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania, all the SADC and Eastern and West African countries. And we've learnt a lot through exporting. We've learnt that we don't have the right distribution networks. We've learnt that people within the organization don't necessarily follow up a lot on exports. We need a better exporting plan. So really what my message today to all of you is have you put your plan together to export? Have you got which products you want to really take over the borders? of your particular country? Do you know what your USPs are in those countries? Have you got your distributor networks organized? Have you got your contacts? Have you networked across the borders? And I mean, this is a wonderful forum for all of us to network very effectively, and I think that's really, if you get nothing else from my discussion right now, it's how to network properly within the IWEC forum. It's not necessarily about our businesses and what we are doing, but it's how can I help you in my country? You do a very different type of business to what I do, but if each one of us said, how can I help you in your country? How can I help? You're doing a different business, how can I help? And develop those networks, develop those contacts. So someone doing a medical business, perhaps I can put you into, it's a totally unrelated field for me. I'm not in medicine at all, but I can certainly have got friends and colleagues who are in medicine. In the waste management business, I can put you in touch, Maria, from the United States. I can put you in touch with some people in the waste management business in our country, help you go global, help you to achieve those objectives. So, and I think that's what IWEC's all about. I mean, we heard from Virginia Littlejohn. I really thought her talk was fantastic about all the state organizations that help you. We certainly have those in South Africa to help you with exports, and I mean that is something that all of us need to engage in properly. So that's also a challenge that we need to do that, although I think a lot of you are doing that. So yeah, I mean, my topic is, let's get our own global goals and objectives aligned and in focus, and then we can help empower other women to get there.
And Carmen was IWEC Past Awardee in 2010. Her company provides clients with fully scalable global indirect procurement solutions. She says, we make ourselves indispensable to our clients by building globally and acting locally. SDI is one of the largest Hispanic women-owned companies in the world. Why did you decide to expand and go global? Carmen.
Thank you very much, and hello, everybody. Right from the beginning of SDI in 1992, my vision always been to run a global company. It was the beginning of the internet, it was the beginning of technology, and rapidly understood that technology was here to change our lives forever, to make the planet flat, to make the world flat, and I thought that that would be a very good opportunity for me to start a business that I always wanted to run my own business. Even since I was 6 years old, I just knew that I wanted to do something, that I wanted to own my own business. I remember playing with my brothers and sisters, selling them $1 for 25 cents and made them believe that they got a bargain. And my mother said, daughter, you are going to do good in life. You're going to do great in life. So then when I moved to the States as a student in 1990, actually, saw the opportunity that this is it. I fell in love with America, and I thought this is going to be the land where I really can get my dreams come true. So I started SDI International. Right from the beginning, my company was named Superior Design International. And the reason why I named it Superior Design International was because we did some project work and mostly on designing, engineering. But then the internet really started booming in 1992 and 93. And I thought, well, this is the really opportunity to get into services and help companies like all our clients. Our clients are all Fortune 100 companies such as IBM, Lenovo, Motorola, all the very technical companies, to get all the system changed and implemented, to change really technology, get into like the latest and greatest. So we started in 1992, as I said, 1993, open offices in the States, rapidly grew to Canada and to the UK. Then we grew as well in South America. We have a very large presence in South America and in Asia. And also we are in the process of expanding now to Singapore and to Australia. We're hoping to be a really total global company by the end of next year. Currently, we have 22 offices across the globe, except Australia, so we're really hoping to have a large presence in Australia. And that's the reason why I always wanted to go international. Thank you.
Thank you. Next in line, Özlem has focused on financial literacy, inclusion and entrepreneurship of women in Turkey. She is the first Turkish person to be a board member of the Global Reporting Initiative, also hosting a TV show. Please elaborate on the importance of media on inspiring women entrepreneurs.
Well, thank you very much. First of all, I'm just coming from Antalya G20, and I must say that this group is much more diverse than what I've seen here. And I believe if this room was running the world would be a much better place, because we need more women leaders. And I mean that. There's a recent research that came out. What are the qualities that are, the future leadership needs? And the qualities are patience, caring, flexibility, holistic thinking. These are all the features that we do possess more than men. We need both, but it is time. So, a perspective, sitting in a couple of, I co-chair the in W20 Women's Economic Empowerment through Education, Employment, and Entrepreneurship. So, as Ms. Ruth Davis said in the morning, it's extremely important that it's all integrated as a whole. And also in the Gender Parity Council of the World Economic Forum, which does the indices on the countries where every country stands, and which we came out with, the report that says it will take 80 years for men and women to reach equality in the workplace, and that's a lot of years, and we cannot wait for that, obviously. And also, as you mentioned, from the perspective of, I very much believe in the economic freedom being the base of a lot of the solutions. That's why entrepreneurship is extremely relevant. So I'd like to put 4 things. I had a quick presentation. I don't know if that comes up. Okay. I think my presentation was up there. Thank you. So 4 major things. I figure, when I look at you ladies and a couple of gentlemen, which we love to have in these meetings, and thank you for Istanbul's ITO and also IWEC for putting this together. Yes. So 4 things. One of them, the first one, maybe is inspiration. Inspiration, education, networking, and mentoring. They are the 4 pillars, very practical, and I would like to give, with the permission of Chairman, a couple of examples. Inspiration is extremely important. We need exposure of role models. Exposure of role models via storytelling. Why I say storytelling? Because slides get forgotten and research doesn't get read. Stories, every culture is based on stories. We talk with stories, and all the leaders of the world come to the places by telling the stories. So stories are extremely important. So what do I mean by this? They're universal. For example, nobody forgets Malala because it's a story, and it's an inspirational story. So we just need stories like that. But number 1, we need to find those stories. Number 2, we need to curate those stories. Number 3, we need to put them out. How do we put them out? This is what needs very much help in the world today. We need to put them out in several ways. For example, my new friend from Pakistan, Ayesha, she said to me that she's in one of the businesses she's in fashion. My friend Peggy Liu, she's a young global leader also by World Economic Forum, they just put in the Shanghai Fashion Show, not models, role models. 30 women, one is in marketing, the other is a computer engineer, another is an entrepreneur. They did, in the Shanghai Fashion Week, a fashion show of role models. So in other words, it could be done in very different and inspirational ways as well, taking into account, arts and fashion and different ways of life. Another example, Elevate organization, for example, is taking role models and matching them with women, so role model mentorship, let's say. But we need more exposure in media, in social media, in Hollywood, In Disney, I actually wrote a letter to Disney, and with several friends we did. So in other words, we need all this. That's number one. Number two is education, and I'll be very brief. We can get back. Sometimes I get carried away. Please, Chairman, stop me. But education, we are shifting from information age to creative age. And guess what? This is great for women, young women, to flourish. Why? Because why do we go to school? To get a job? We need to go to school to get the best out of us, best from the self. This is what the new age is, to maximize the power, the potential. So in terms of education, very briefly, 5 things. 1, the curriculum has to be designed, civil society, government, and the private society together. And the textbooks are extremely important. I don't go into the details. Number 2, architecture of the classrooms. Architectures, we need more female architectures. You need the smell, the color, the feel, everything has to be changing. Number 3, you need to make teachers leaders. We don't have many women that's going into STEM, for example, science and technology, because the classrooms, there's no girls, and also the teachers are not encouraging it. Many stories and research about that. We need more mothers involved, and we need competitiveness. Example, in the United States, 20 years ago, they started funding girls to be more in school, in sports. And guess what happened? Competitiveness rates have gone up. Because in sports, men do learn to be competitive, to have a goal, to have a plan, and to have a strategy. And this is one of the things that we need to get more women in. Skipping, for the time's sake, I'm not going to go into the importance of science education in this stage that we are going to Mars. There's artificial intelligence, there's coding. We really need to be in technology. But so going to the next slide, please. That is networking. This is an amazing opportunity. I am humbled when I see all of you, and I'm empowered when I go back to do whatever I'm doing. So we need more networks, and we need to encourage young women. And okay, we are here already, but for example, there is Girls 20. It's an organization under actually a part of G20. There is all kinds of girls organizations that are stemming. As we are talking about the next generation, I wanted to emphasize that. And in networking, there are 2 things we don't do well as women. One is that we don't know how to ask. We can be better asking, and we don't know how to say no. So we get overwhelmed, and you know, as Manuel Bright said, in the forehead, it's guilt. So in networking, that's very important. I very much agree. And the next slide is that mentoring, as I understand, it's also very much embedded in IWEC as well. It's important, not just mentoring, also sponsoring is important. But in mentoring, we need to, you know, we see Karate Kid, we see Star Wars, we see, you know, Lord of the Rings. It's always the male's problems that's getting mentored. So going back to the storytelling, the power of storytelling. So we need more women and girls and being mentored out in space. So, and again, very concrete examples can be held, but I'll stop here with the 4 examples, I mean, 4 pillars, that's for empowerment of girls and women. Thank you.
Thank you. And Teresa is an IWEC 2015 awardee, and also she has been nominated Businesswoman of the Year first runner-up by Zimbabwe National Chamber of Commerce. Tell us why this year has been your year. What is the secret of your success, Teresa?
The secret of my success... the secret of my success, I would want to link it with female empowerment. When I look at empowerment, I look at it in women as for us to acquire we need to acquire the power to act freely, exercise our rights, and fulfill the potential in ourselves as equal members of the society. So if we are not able to act freely and exercise the potential in ourselves, we will not be able to achieve what we need to achieve in life. Therefore, as women, I urge other women that in order to empower ourselves, it actually comes from within ourselves. We might sit and network, we might sit and get advice and get all the information that we get. But if it is not coming from within, the power to, the energy to empower ourselves, if we are weak within ourselves, we will not be able to empower ourselves. We also need the confidence, which can take us back to grooming, confidence, and mentoring, some of the things that have been said. If we don't have confidence, it's also difficult as a woman to empower yourself, because you cannot most probably stand in front of people, even talk. So you then shy away, and it's then difficult for you to even interact. So all that is needed. And gender integration has also helped us, because in our society, as a woman, I think most cultures, it's difficult to interact with men. And as a businesswoman, if you are to succeed, you need to have a balance of gender integration. You need to be able to interact with the men in the society with confidence, so that your voice can be heard. And as well, if you are not able to interact with the men in the society, you then find it difficult to do business. I can give you an example of Zimbabwe. You find if you are to go in a meeting or in a boardroom, most probably you might be one woman among 10 or 11 men in the boardroom. You therefore should be able to put across what you are thinking of, to contribute towards what will be happening. By doing that, you are also actually empowering yourself. What will then happen is all the people surrounding you, all the people around you will start listening to you. But then if you are within that group of people and you remain quiet and you remain timid, they will not listen to you and they will not take time to hear your contribution. So what I'm saying to fellow women is it comes from within ourselves to empower ourselves. No one is going to be able to push you. Yes, we can talk, we can encourage, we can give each other the energy, we can re-energize, be re-energized by others, by speeches and everything. But it has to come from within ourselves to be able to empower ourselves. And also what has enabled me to be successful as well, if we look at, we've tried also to harness science and technology and innovation, although I'm not going to go much into that, but also science and technology. Researching, going on the internet, looking at trends internationally. That's why I'm actually now working on a convention center, because I've looked at international trends in terms of conferencing, what other nations are doing, what other countries are doing, especially our neighbor South Africa. So because of that, if it were not for science and technology, we wouldn't be able to get all the information on what's happening internationally and how we can even advance ourselves as women in business. I think that's all I can say.
And Regina is also IWEC 2015 awardee, a lucky woman who managed to fulfill her dream of transferring basic science into industry. Some products she and her husband have developed has been adopted by NASA. Well done, Regina. Thank you. Am I asked, so you say that the change must come from within and very early in life, otherwise girls will carry on not wanting to study engineering. How do you promote young women to your task force?
Some technology here. We need to invent coaxial cables that are flexible. This is a rigid short one. Maybe we can put an elastic one. That's a new business. This one? Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to take the opportunity to talk a little bit about what would I think I would do for empowering future women generations. We've been talking about our generation. I just want to think a little bit ahead of time in the future. What are these women that today are children, and how we can help them into coping with the future? So I'm going to talk about STEM-related jobs, okay? So some numbers. That's figures that you all know. We're only 13.7% present in boards in the European Union. We're only 3.2% present as presidents and chairpersons of large companies. We're only 15.5% present in university and higher education heads of departments and, you know, management and directorates. So 10% of university had a female rector. That's only. Those are very low levels. So it's not only the private sector, it's the public sector, it's the academic world, it's everywhere. So, okay, 36% of board members were women in 2010. That's in the European Union as an average, but that doesn't really mean that that's in everywhere. So we have quite unpleasant figures going around. So when we go to what is it that the figures with regards to STEM, that is science, technology in the sense of general applied technology, engineering and mathematics driven jobs, women, we are only 24% in the statistics of the US, so that's very low, okay? Even though in the college education, you know, they really are getting a little bit higher in the last years, okay? But still, we don't equal absolutely anything like men. And in the last federal government research in 2011, this is the distribution of STEM careers, and we see computer science is really, really low, physics is really low, engineering in general is really low, mathematics is a little bit better, okay, because, you know, there's more women that like the beauty and the aesthetics, which means mathematics. We think that mathematics is number, but it's not, okay, it's just aesthetics and nice structures. So we are really badly placed, okay. So really women in the European Union, okay, even though 49% do PhDs, and even though 40% are studying math, we're only 25% in engineering, and engineering-related jobs in manufacturing. Engineering is the bridge to execution, so we need the bridge to execution also, and we don't have enough in engineering, so we have to make really an effort. Even that, for those of you who haven't read very recent statistics, this is the latest one I found of 2012, we are the most successful users of technology in the internet. Females, that's the red color. We outnumber men in Pinterest, in Goodreads, in bloggers, in Tag, in Tumblr, in MySpace, in Facebook, in Twitter, name it, okay? Only the more technical ones, like Reddit or some of the political ones, we get the men there. But we are the owners, okay? So let's think about this, okay? So we're not only users, we probably would be able to build it better if we get engaged in STEM businesses. So there is a sense of urgency, as I said, my third point, because STEM skills are critical to innovation and in creating a competitive edge in knowledge-intensive economies. And most of the increase and growth of jobs are going to be with the skill of problem solving. So these skills are better attained in STEM careers. So we're going to lose 50% of the population in the highest growing labor opportunities in the next years if we don't take actions, okay? So it's really, it's a mess. So we have a sense of urgency. Look at these questionnaires, okay? You know, the individuals that answer these questionnaires of the European Union, it's incredible. It's 2.7% think that jobs in innovative sectors, such as the digital sector, should be accessible to women. 2.7%. What are we thinking? I mean, are women dumb? They cannot do science? They have a different brain? No, no, sir. We cannot accept this situation, okay? Now think about corporations. They're not even better. 1.8%, even worse, okay? Think that we have to give this to women. So we have to change this. So success story, as Özlem said. Of course, we are a storyteller. So I'm going to finish with some success stories. So with the first mathematician ever in the 3rd century, it's Hypatia, okay? She was great, okay? She did analysis on all of the results from Euclid, Diophantus. She had her father as the mathematician, the last one in Alexandria before they destroyed the school and the museum in Alexandria in Egypt. And she was also, with a drastic death because of religious intolerance, okay? And then we have Ada Lovelace, the daughter of Lord Byron, who did the first program, the first computer program in her, machine, okay, which was called she worked with Babbage, but she was really into the first programming code that ever had existed. And then we have Amy Noether, which was, I think, the best and most outstanding mathematician in the world. And then we have Margaret Hamilton. If it wasn't for her, the Apollo 11 would have had a lot of problems. There was no synchronization of the electrical power for the rudder and the rest, and she had the idea of anticipation and prepared contingency code for if that ever happened, what would the computer be doing? And so she was very anticipated for her age. So this is really incredible. And of course today we have great collaborative, researchers, these chemist women, Dr. Dudna and Emmanuel Carpenter, they have, revolutionized the genetics. They have invented this CRISPR-Cas9 technique, which allows us to go as a very precise bisturi, I don't know how you say that in English, a very precise incision in the chromosome rather than somehow fuzzy region, and we have to wait for success. This is the revolution of today, okay? And these are women involved that chat along, and she is in Berkeley, and she took to this lady in Paris, and both teams start working together, and they solve a crucial thing, to be more precise, in order to really heal, okay, diseases that are located in the genetic chromosome. So this is really interesting. And then, of course, we have the typical examples that everybody knows, okay? Marisa Mayer, LaCheryl Sander. I wanted to bring some other examples because, it seems that we are run out of examples. All of the big corporation examples are the only women that we see in technology. And, of course, we talk about Google being the seed of these wonderful women that have gone otherwise. Charlie Hughes has gone to Stripe, Françoise Casal has gone to Global Business Lead, etc., etc., etc. We must think about more normal examples. We have them around here, we have them around everywhere. So, what is the most interesting challenge in technology that is here today? Big data and cybersecurity. So if we're going into technology, besides artificial intelligence, the biggest way that we can help society today is running, understanding analytics on our big data. Why is it today and not yesterday? We have been doing analytics in our company for many years, but why is it important today? Because of the capacity of computation and the capacity of storage has allowed us to do quantum leaps, but really quantum leaps. We can't imagine how much. And all of that changing a paradigm that we all scientific and non-scientific have in our background, which is causality. We always want everybody to explain us why was that, what was the cause. No, let's be innovative. Let's think that we have to change the paradigm of causality to the paradigm of correlation. I love an example of my wonderful husband. He says, what is it before? Does how you say in English, the male hen, a roof? The egg. No, the male? Roof? The roof? A rooster. A rooster. Does the rooster sing because the sun comes up? Or does the sun come up because the rooster is singing? What does it matter if every time the rooster sings, a new mathematician is graduated from Berkeley? Okay, so it's correlations what is important today. We have to allow the emergence of new knowledge without a formal supervision of causality. So this is what big data is about. And not everybody thinks that this is important. We see there's only 4 or 5 things that are important, but it's a special mind that you need. You need artistic creative nature, you need insight and abstraction, you need knowledge of basic science techniques, you do analysis and synthesis, you have to be seductive and storyteller, you have to be a hacker, you have to be a transgressor. All of these things you don't find in one person. So allow me to say we are recruiting a lot of data scientists, and you have to build teams. So it's collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. So this is the need of data jobs in the US, 519,000, which will not be filled either this year, next year, or the year tomorrow, or not, because it's impossible. So there is a problem. And there we are non-including women. So Obama has a clear, he's trying to engage women, telling them that they're winning 33% more on the salaries if they engage in STEM professions. That's true. They will be gaining 33% more on their salaries, okay? And now it's a policy of the Democratic Party. Hillary Clinton 5 months ago in the Silicon Valley was talking about STEM and women in technology as her favorite speech in fundraising from large donors in the Silicon Valley. So STEM is the name of the game. We need women to engage. My action plans, we have to start very early. We have to stop giving babies and Barbies for girls to play. We need to give them Legos, Mechanos, computers, and robots. So we're talking about the teachers, we're talking about the men, it's the women, the mothers, the grandmothers. We have to do the change. If we don't do the change, what are we expecting from others? So take a look at an entrepreneur named Debbie Sterling, an engineer. She is very successful with Goldie Blocks, which are special books that teach physics, okay? So she has a lot of very, very beautiful videos with little inventors of 7, 8, and 9, and 4, and 5 years old. There's also another girl that started Ruminate, which is another type of toys that these are wired, so they can have lights and all those things. So all of these things are happening. So, and then for later on, we have all this robot technology for children that has been developed in the MIT. There is an origami fold and code robots that you can, give the kids. So there's a lot of things that you can start teaching from early age. And then there is, of course, the 3D printing that you can do a lot of things. So you can, and I'm not going to enter now into the flying, okay, of our new, elements now that are, polluting our space, okay, in parks and everywhere, okay? So, and then we have also, for later on, then we have these clubs for girls who code, later in life, you have an opportunity. It doesn't matter if you have not been trained. So all of this is important. And I just want to have you, as a takeaway idea, this quote from Martin Luther King, which I love. A social movement that only moves people is merely a revolt. A movement that changes both people and institutions is a revolution. So I think we need a revolution in favor of STEM for women.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I want to turn back to Karine again. What lasting advice would you give to the up-and coming generation of women leaders? Could you please share your experiences with us as well?
Yeah, I think in my country, for women entrepreneurs, I think that they do need to get linked in with a mentor. I think they do need to start with good companies initially and then work their way up. And I think they should never give up.
Thank you. And Carmen, how has your involvement in organizations like IWEC helped you to expand your brand and business?
Yeah, IWEC has helped me tremendously. I was an awardee in 2010. That was my first year. And I connected with so many women. And right immediately that year, I already started doing some business with some of the women. But a couple of years ago in Peru, or 3 years ago in Peru, I met Renee, she's right here. She's one of the awardees from South Africa. We connected immediately. We sat down, and that evening, right there in Peru, we come up with a partnership, with a joint venture. And I must say, Renee, you're the only woman that owns 51%, that I was able to connect. I connected with her so much, I trusted her so much, that we are really doing a lot of wonderful things. This is the power of IWEC, not only for the people in here, but the past toward this. Keep working, all of you, keep working with us, keep connecting with your chambers and with us, because together, my dream of IWEC is to make IWEC the United Nations of successful women business entrepreneurs.
And the new phenomena is mentoring, as you mentioned, Özlem, and providing network. Why it is so important for new business, for entrepreneurs and the next generations?
Mr. Chairman, I had a 30-second movie, 30-second film. I would please like to end if everybody can sort of, rise up for a minute for what I would like to show you, with your permission. And I had a professor, her name is, she's a professor at Harvard Kennedy School. I guess you need to. This is a woman that I mentor. She's 17. So one of the things we can do is to help them voice their dreams.
My name is Desmond. I'm 17 years old. I'm a senior in high school. And when I go to college, I want to study hospitality and hotel management. I'm making this video to voice Cappadocia and the girls who live here. I want to elevate the voices of those who want to be heard. I feel very lucky that my family supports me when it comes to achieving my dreams. And this is what inspired me to help other girls also achieve their dreams. Ben Berrak, 15 yaşındayım. Bir gün beni olimpiyat oyunlarında göreceksiniz. Ben Eda, 17 yaşındayım. Dünya dört yanından topladığım hikayeleri herkese anlatacağım. Ben Ebru, yaşım 18. Bir gün dünyanın en büyük organizasyonlarında benim adım duyacaksınız. O son soruyu ben hatırlıyorum. Tarihe geçecek olanı ben ölümsüzleştireceğim. Dünyanın gözü üzerimizde olacak. Sesimi duy, bana inan. 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 Sesimi duy, bana inan.
Right, this was just one example. Please don't sit. This is, okay, so I want to show you a pose that I showed as a supermodel. So if everybody can put their hands like this. So Amy Cuddy, she got 16 million hits in her YouTube video, which I encourage you, if you haven't, to listen to it. She's a professor at Harvard Kennedy School. She dropped out of her school after when she was a kid at high school, and she lost all her mental capacity and everything. They told her, stay at home all your life. Today, she's a professor at Harvard. And she has this thing that's called, with hormones, it's called fake it till you become it. So now what we do is that now, if in any important decision, we can do it ourselves or empower these young women, is that when we do this pose and open the legs, the testosterone level, which gives us the, the power, the encouragement, after 2 minutes, it goes up by 20%. If we close up like this, our cortisol level goes up, which is not feeling security. So in other words, I'd like to end mine is that, when we are mentors or when we are telling stories, let's do the superwoman pose and let's fake it till we become it or till these young girls become it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we have just 2 minutes left. Maybe Regina and Teresa wants to give a one word. What do you think entrepreneur woman needs? And
I just want to end by saying, in most cases, where we women, like where I come from, you find there's the culture, the society, and the institutions. At times they create conditions and facilities that undermine our possibilities of empowerment. But I want to just say as a word of encouragement, we shouldn't let society, the cultures, and the institutions that create these conditions pull us down. we should, like I've said in the beginning, empowerment comes from within. So we shouldn't let anything come within or limit us from empowering ourselves. Thank you very much.
I will only add one thing that I always tell young people. If they want to be entrepreneurs or whatever they want and is their dream, I think that you should always make space for a very particular passion in your life. And that passion has to be the willingness to learn until you die. You have to always want to learn until you die. This is what makes a difference. So if you're always craving for knowledge, if you're always wanting to learn something else, if you're even a tiny bit from someone else, then I think you're in the right road. So I think that passion for learning is something that you need to be a good entrepreneur, that you need to be a good startup, that you need to be a good businesswoman, that you need to be a good mentor, that you need to be a good mother, that you need to be a good grandmother, that you need to be a good representative of this society, which is a privilege to live in this 21st century. Let's hope that we don't have any more events as the one that you mentioned this beginning. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the inspirations to all succeeded and powerful women. So let's become a superwoman power all together, connected as a sisters. And thank you for listening. Our panel was finished.
Graduate of MIT, very much believe it. It's very inspirational.
Now I'm going to announce, first of all, we are going to, it's very important that we have to be at the hotel lobby, those who stay at Ottoman Legacy Hotel, to be at the lobby at 17:15, 5 p.m., 17:15, it's better. And that's why we are going to take a boat to other side, and if you are not there on time, then we will be late. So it's very important. Please be there at 17:15. And there are two cards in my hands, 410 and 411. Room cards. Someone left it. You cannot enter to your rooms. Please take it from me. I will wait for who left them. And another note I have, please don't forget to give your earphones to the desk in front of the reception. And bugün saat 18.30'da Cemile Sultan'da yemek davetimiz olacak. Tüm misafirlerimizi bekliyoruz. Bizi oraya götürecek olan bot saat 5.30'da Harem Kadıköy iskeleleri arasındaki bir iskele var. Oradan kalkacak. Tam ortasında Harem'le Kadıköy'ün ortasında. Tüm misafirlerimiz davetlidir. Thank you very much. And Miss Nancy, just a second.
Thank you very much. Just two quick notes to the panel and to Regina, and I'm giving you all a new business idea. I recently spoke at a IT conference. Everybody in the room was about 21 years old, and they asked me to talk about the new work environment. What is the new work environment going to look like? And here I had all these 21-year-olds in a big open space, shared office space, the computers, headphones. And I said, wait, the statistics show in the United States alone that in the year 2012, there were 7.5 million workers over the age of 65. By the year, this is your business idea, by the year 2020, in the United States alone, there will be 12,500,000 workers over the age of 65. I will be one of them. How am I going to keep pace with STEM, with technology? Who's going to train me? Who's going to show me the latest and the newest? It's not just our young generations learning STEM, it's continued education for 12.5 million workers just in the United States. And if any of you have access to, did anybody see the movie The Intern?
Yep.
We know what it is, right? Robert De Niro, over 65, kicked out of his job. He's looking for something to do. He takes an internship in a very young company with a very young female leader. And at first she's like, ugh. But then she accepts the fact that he has experience, he has things to offer, brings him in and uses his skill set. And that's the kind of thing that we need to do. But we also need to keep training people like me so that I can keep up and keep the pace and know what's going on in the world. So that is my business idea for all of you. You figure it out. Okay, and one last thing is Seki. Where is Seki? Seki, as I mentioned before, is organizing the Cappadocia tour. I know Seki, the ambassador, wants to meet with you just to finalize. If anyone else wants to find more about going to Cappadocia Thursday, Friday, please talk to Seki here in the back. Thank you very much. Thank you, panelists.
Okay.
Thank you, Teresa. That was good to be on the panel with you. Thank you. Nice to see you.